Hey guys, back again, and this is going to be the last video, I hope, at least for this series, and we still have the asterisk on the which one was on the main because of the deprecated functions. So I will see that later, and I will add a new video about that. But right now everything should help you with most of the stuff. So let's go to AddPost. Okay, I am here on AddPost. Let's just close this because we don't want the HTML, and let's just keep this one, which is the AddPost component that TS, and let's just finish with this stuff already. So what we need to do is to import again what we're going to need. Okay, I still have the routes, the comments here, so you can see what is going on, and the import client HTTP client module. Okay, so remember that we already have this, but we need to set an array here of imports, and we add the imports here. So let's start with this. I mean all the imports, the HTTP client, and all that we are going to use, the testing module and all that, and that should be it. So let's change this to the test ng test. And by the way, I'm pressing the up arrow to get the other commands. So if you didn't know about that, just press the up arrow on your keyboard and you will get the other commands that you have run before. So, and this is kinda this is a small function. So let's just make it like this. Okay, we already tested a form before, but the different thing here is that we're going to test only the mockup of the file. That's the only difference about the form. So let me just get this. At this point, I think we can copy this and move on. We're going to use async, not async, but async, and we are going to define a function inside this. So we add a semicolon there, make this bigger, and scroll a little bit. So let's explain this. We need the title, content, and we need the cover. But how in the hell we're going to add the file here, because this is a different environment, this is not the browser. How we are running this? Okay, so it says one fail. Post component should create fail. Post component, you said? Space undefined. Combine to form groups is a non-property, that should be fine. No provider for HTTP client. On post component, you gotta be kidding me. Just save this. Everything is set. Oh, okay. Do I have anything here? Yeah, that is something that I wanted to explain last time, but I didn't because I wasn't sure if I was going to get an error. Okay, so let me just, I think because, okay, so let's do this thing to get rid of that. So it says, and this is something that you need to be aware of your tests. Post component should create fail. Why? Because it's expecting the provider for the HTTP client. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go to post component expect TS. And I think I had this somewhere. Let me just go to my other stuff and check for the main. Was there a problem? No, it's expect TS. No, it's not there. But okay, let's just do this. Let's just fix that. And as I recall, what is happening is that it's trying to load the post, but since we are now running, let me just go to. Since we are running now some functionality here about the service, I think that is why it's complaining. So let's just go to post spec, get all this. And I thought I didn't need anything for this. And use the imports because as I said, we are, let me just add the imports like that, comma, and add the imports and just break it a little bit so you can see better. Not like that, but like this. And that should be all that we need. One failed, which is post component should create. Do I need to pass the let me just check. Do I need to pass the HTTP client too? It seems like I didn't pass anything there. I'm passing the routes and the router testing in just in case. And let's add this to the stuff just to see if that fixes that error. Let me just run. Okay, 014. Let me just run that again. Okay, let's just wait 10. I don't need to see that. I need to see this console. Okay, let's wait. 14 success. Okay. So yeah, that was the stuff because we are using where I'm not sure, but okay, because let me just check post service. Okay. Yeah, as I recall, it was because we are using the HTTP for the service, and that is implementing it. So remember that this is not Firebase, this is using HTTP. Let me just show you the service. And not that, the service that is the actual service. And we need this because we're running the stuff. And remember that even though we're not testing for much here, it's still loading the post component. It's still loading everything it needs. Okay, like the I don't have the service here, but the service itself is implementing the HTTP client module. So that is why we needed to add that. So if you have a problem saying that a component requires something after running a test, just add the specific stuff to the imports and you should be ready to go. So let's just close the post, post service 2, and AddPost is okay. I'm going to change a few things here. Just test and okay, continue. So yeah, where is this? Is AddPost. So okay, let's just continue with this. So what we need to do here to make the mockup is say let f or file equal a new file. It's already 3:41. That's why I'm hungry. Okay, add this. Just add this specific thing. You can see this is the blob part. The name of the file, which is going to be a string, and the options. So the option is going to be the MIME type. Yeah, it works as a HTML, it seems. But let's say file name. And the type, which is going to be text HTML in this case. To make the blob, and let mock, and this is just because we need the file. Let mock file equals to file, but we still need to parse the f as the file. So even though this should work with JPG and all that stuff, we're going to check that in a second. So this part is the important, but it's not that important. What I mean by that is that we need the mockup file to be parsed into a real file, but we just need to check that the file is a file, you know. And we say component that post form. Remember that the component is the actual AddPost component, and we can get this object syntax in order to get the controls from the form or whatever we want inside that component. Set value, and this is a simple post. Because we're setting this because the form has this valid requirement. Sorry, this required requirement for the title and the cover, and the minimum length for the content. So that's how we're going to bypass that and set this form to be valid, because we actually don't need to test. We already tested when a function or a form is not valid, I think. So let me just go to it was on services. So we're using this. So it should not call the send request because the form only should call the submit when it's valid. That's why we are checking. If we click that, we run the function and we check that it has been called 0 times. So that is how we check that the function is not being submitted. So set value. Let me just grab this. Is a long string because it should be it has the minimum length of 100 characters. That's why we need to comply with that. I'm still typing this because I don't know, just for you to see, I guess. Set value to be the mock file, and that is going to be the expected stuff. Expect the component post form has a valid after setting all this, okay, to be truthy. And that should be it. We're going to make a few tests with the other stuff. So I don't know if you can hear a freaking plane. 14 success, navigation. Oops, sorry. I will need to check. This is a warning. Maybe we need to add the form group here. All these are warnings. It's not really something that we should. Okay, we should care about those, but it's not going to affect that much inside the tests. So we can just check that later. I will check that later to fix what I'm checking the Angular 10 stuff for the lazy loading testings. So don't worry about that. Or if you want to see why you have that error, you can just research for that. So let me just make some changes inside this. Let me just, because I'm using the first one, and let me see what error is what we have here. Is that image? Okay, because it's a file list. Okay. And this is not going to run with that. Okay, that was the thing. Yeah. Because we're expecting the first file. Let me just check something. Oh yeah, because I was checking before to see if the file list was getting, but I will need to set an array of, and it was just a ton of crap that I needed to do. So I just decided to change it to set the first value and just check that is, let's say, what was the MIME type of this stuff? Let me just check this. Image MIME type, image JPEG. Let me just see if this works. This should work in this environment. Yeah, it seems it worked. But as I said, this is kinda just a placebo effect, like we did with the HTTP client, because we are setting the file. Maybe we can check if that file type is the type, but we are setting it ourselves, and we can test if it returns the correct type or whatever. Well, let's say expect mock file to be. I will need to check this, but which functions we have to contain, to equal, to string, to throw, to match. I will need to check this. That, and should give us the rest of the functions. Expect name message length. Okay, I think I know how to be image PNG. I think this is the other one, right? Let me just check this stuff. JPEG MIME types and file extensions. Let's look for PNG. It doesn't say. Let's look for JPEG. I'm checking this MIME type page. Let's check for GIF. Yeah, that should have the type. And let's see what triggers. Let's see. If not, I will just check for that later. So we can at least close this series that has been paused for so long. And you can get the basic stuff for Angular 9 and some stuff for Angular 10. So let's wait, let's see. Yeah, expect image JPEG to be, and that's how you can test all that crap. Okay, so let me just check. We need to set the JPEG, and you can just play with this stuff, okay? And let's just wait for this to actually make the green, and double check the application. Well, if it wants to run, of course. Okay. Why when I do the Control C it starts to run. Ay, ay. Okay. I can still move through this, but it's using the cache, so it's not something that is giving us the latest changes. Let me close this. And you can see everything is okay. So let's close this. Let's go. Okay, it opens again. And you serve. And let's just wait for this. I'm going to leave that open just in case. So we can see just what we built in these months. That shouldn't be like that, but well, due to work, I have to wait more to finish all this. Okay, this is done. Okay, so we can just go there. We can delete. We don't have to update because we really don't need that. In order to test, we have the services, just a simple page. We have the home, and we can add new posts. So, and this is going to redirect us. This is going to send us there. You can also check this if when you click you get redirected. So it's just that. And of course, if you do this, you will need to add the request forms, the reactive forms, because it's going to load this in the environment, the test environment. So it's going to ask you for that, I think. Okay, so I think that's all, guys. Finally, this series is over. And well, I was going to point out that this is still prompted. This is another version of what I have currently. So I made a change. Now I think it doesn't even check for the connection. I mean, if there's an error, just checks for the error and returns that, because this is kind of misleading. It's saying connection established while we had a Mongo network error before. So yeah, so don't worry too much about this. This is just a logic error, so that shouldn't be there. I already have this fixed. We will be using Node later, so maybe I will show you how to do it with Mongo. But the next thing that I have planned is to start with a React and TypeScript using Firebase, and or go to Node, but the Node application that I'm building, which is going to use an API, it's going to be kind of an API with a client, but the difference is that that client is going to be built with Puck inside Node, but we're going to use JSON Web Tokens, or that is what I'm trying to implement, JSON Web Tokens, okay, as if it was separated, you know, maybe an Angular or React or Vue SPA, single page application, or with or connected via HTTP to the API. But all that is going to be Puck with Node in the same application, but trying to mimic the API. Okay, the API kind of functionality. So you can see how kind of the process is when kind of decoupling the functionality. But of course, we are not returning JSON in that case. It's going to be a fun thing to watch, I hope. And we're going to render the pages, but the main thing is that we're going to use JSON Web Tokens as if it's a SPA and Node API in a separate way. So it's going to be kind of fun. I found a little thing about state in Node, just a simple npm that is going to allow us to use some kind of state instead of using express sessions, which is the same thing but better, of course, has more functionality. But yeah, it's going to be a fun thing to watch. I'm still not sure when I'm going to get that, but just a little heads up there. And I think that's all, guys, and see you in the next one.